is you focus on the inner beauty, which doesn't cost as much to work on as everybody paying these millions and billions of dollars for all this mascara.
Billions of, like, I hate the fact that we spend billions of dollars on industries that we simply do not own, and we make $1.5 trillion. One figure is 1.5, one figure is 1.9, and one figure is 1.3, depending on what school of thought you come from. But we make over $1 trillion a year out of the economy, and we don't see none of that. We don't see none of that money. We don't see none of that money because we spend $800 billion on Hennessy, $600 billion. Like, if we just took one vice that black people had and spent it on black people would be not be oppressed no more forever. If we just took all the money we spent on Nike and said we're gonna reallocate all the money we spent on Nike and put that on building another Black Wall Street, we would be out of poverty. We would be everything would be good tomorrow. But
okay. Yo, Doc, man, what are you doing, man, with these Instagram?
Yeah, man. Yeah, baby. Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of a beautiful woman selling something, baby.
But what you were saying to the chakra.
But remember, she's a real. Those two girls y'all seen. They're not just models. They actually took the product.
Okay.
So they actually did the cleanse, and they actually gave testimonials and showed their before, and they showed their before and after. So that's what she was doing. Like, she's showing like, yo, look, this stuff got me feeling nice. This stuff got me feeling light and vibrant.
Okay,
it got me feeling sexy.
On this sync, she's showing her before and her after.
Okay. So I see y'all here, right?
It's too late at night, man. It's too late at night. My wife is gonna kill me, boy.
In the middle of the picture, she got a beautiful. In the middle of the picture is a beautiful face. So
But see this. But this also ties in, and Brother Saker, I know I mentioned this campaign that I talk about. It's called being a $20 revolutionary.
Yeah.
Okay. And for those who don't know what that is, I'm gonna break it down to you. Okay. Chakra Doctor just talked about the so-called purchasing power, the 1.8, 1.9, 2 trillion. Now, here's something that we can do that's very simple but can be very effective, short-term and long-term. Right. Being a $20 revolutionary. Let's say that individually we make a commitment to make a $20 purchase every week from a Black-owned entity, be it brick and mortar or internet-based, right? If you were to do that over a 52-week period, individually, you would have put $1,040 back into the hands of Black entrepreneurs and business owners. All right. Now, if we continue to do that and we begin to get others to do that, if we can reach 50 million people and get them to practice being a $20 revolutionary every week, within 1 year, we would have shifted $52 billion back into our economy. Just from that one habit. We ain't had to go out here to protest, the whole test, and yell Black Lives Matter and all the rest of that.
The whole testers.
Okay.
Protesting and whole testing. I'm telling you, man, I gotta do a live on protesting and whole testing.
Just from one habit, we can shift 52 billion back into our hands. But it's about making a commitment based in the nucleus of culture, history, and spirituality. But that's something very simple, but it's very effective.
Man, that's something that
genius.
That's genius that we can now see. That's something that we can actually market to people and get people to do.
Right.
Get people to become these $20 revolutionaries and say, hey man, get on code and spend your money with your people.
I say. Hey, since you dropped the $20 revolutionary, let's talk about beef.
Yes, sir. There's a thing that I call the science of beef. And what the science of beef stands for business, economics, entrepreneurship, and finance. Okay. If we can practice that, and like I said, it's something very simple, very basic, but it's very effective. Okay.
The simple things always are.
Right. And that's why I said, if you talk about beef, just say, okay, business, economics, entrepreneurship, finance. It's something that the people can remember. Okay,
Right.
meet the people where they are by coming up with acronyms.
Mm-hmm.
People can remember that. Hey, what are you doing? I'm practicing the science of beef. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And lastly, because I want to go ahead and wrap things up. We've been chatting for a minute, man. Chakra Doctor, I love having you on the show, man. Yo, thank you for all the magic you're bringing to what we're doing, brother.
No worries. Be a cop. Ooh.
Yeah, be a cop. Be a creator, owner, and producer of products, services, and content that that we manifest.
$20 revolutionary.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, $20 revolutionary, and then you said beef is business, economics, entrepreneurship, and finance.
That's the science of beef. Yes, sir.
All right, $20 revolutionary, science of beef,
and then be a cop, which means be a creator, owner, producer.
Practice.
We gotta stop running from the cop and become a cop.
Yes, sir. And see, you can be a righteous cop by being this.
Right.
Which is what you are. You are a righteous cop. You are a creator, owner, and producer of products.
Well, I told you, I tell people all the time, nothing wrong with cops. There's nothing wrong with cops. It's just that we don't own the police force. So we don't get to decide what cops get to patrol our neighborhood. But these just simple things like that. Like I would rather, I call it halfway segregation. We need to go back to segregated. You need to go back to segregation halfway. Like when it comes to the police, don't let no white cops patrol black neighborhoods. Only black cops can patrol black neighborhoods. Only black people. Let only black people handle black people when it comes to these interracial relations. When it comes to getting arrested and all of these things. Like we need to become partly segregated again, so that we can see that it's okay to be with ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves, right? But if we constantly thinking that we need a Caucasian to validate who we are as people, we're never going to make it there. You know what I mean? So yes, I believe every single industry that is around right now I don't have no problem with it. The only problem I have with the industry is that we don't own none of it. Listen, we spent $600 billion on Hennessy. If Hennessy was black owned, amen Hennessy. You see, we spend $500 billion on Nike. If Nike was black owned, amen Nike. We own Nike. But we don't own none of this stuff. So that's why I got a problem with all this stuff. It's not about the actual, institutions or not. It's about who owns them, and we don't own it. So it's like, why? It's like, ugh.
And you know what? I think the ownership piece is what we're doing tonight. So tonight we started off talking about Judge Katanji Brown Jackson.
Right.
This is her with Cory Booker. Salute to Cory Booker, because he stood up for her when she was catching a little bit of challenge.
Oh yeah, she was catching that flack, huh?
Yeah.
She's catching that Joe Flacco.
Well, this brings us back to our conversation, because we started off talking about Judge Katanji Brown Jackson and taking ownership. And so we can't just accept what's put in front of us on the plate. We got to own the conversation. We have to own the plate. We have to own the ability for somebody to put a plate in front of us. So I guess wrapping it up, man, like I said, I'm impressed with Katanji Brown Jackson, but I don't know if she's for us. And as I've done the research, it's kind of iffy.
I think anything Joe Biden put in front of us is a crock of bull crap. I analyze like, listen, what has Joe Biden and Kamala done for us? Forget what Katanji doing. What has Joe Biden done for us? What is the president? What's she gonna do for us that the president couldn't do?
And see, I take a position that my old teacher, Brother Steve Copley, teaches us: politics will not whip white supremacy.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
Okay. And he said that on CNN back in 1988.
Yes, he did.
Okay. So again, what will? Again, going back to the nucleus of being rooted in our culture, history, and spirituality.
And to add value to what you're saying, think about this, y'all. If we do what the minister says, and we add that culture, history, and spirituality to our DNA, to our daily goings ons,
Check.
there can't be no Mike Brown, because there's going to be an answer for that. Remember, we can come together and say, okay, you got Mike Brown killed. Well, guess what we about to do? We about to make sure that no funding, this many black people go over here and do this. We about to make sure no black people go over here and do this since y'all killed Mike Brown. Guess what they're gonna start doing? Another white dude has said this too. What if all black people went and got insurance, life insurance, right? If all black people today or tomorrow were to go get life insurance, immediately cop killings would stop, because insurance companies hate to pay. So if your cop behind go and kill a black person, that black person got life insurance, and no insurance company is going to want that money out of your behind. And so therefore, if all black people would have just do a smart thing like get life insurance, I mean, it's a double win-win. If you die, you pay, your family get money, right? And you're solving an economic and culturalistic problem within your society at the same time. Because trust me, they will not be eager to shoot black people down if they knew that black people had insurance with all of these companies. Right?
You know what? Dr. David Anderson Sr. said that on Get On Code about 3 years ago. And, well, it was called The Fly Guy Show at that time. But yeah, he said that, and I'm just like, and the more I've thought about it, and his point was what you just said, Chuck, with that if there was a financial consequence for police misbehavior, the insurance companies, who have some of the biggest lobbyists in the country, would ensure that a change would be made. And so that's empowerment. That's taking your resources and saying we're going to make something change to work on our agenda in our benefit. Which is what we need to do.
Right.
Get on,
and we can
it's creator, operator, producer, right?
Creator, create, own, produce.
All right, create, own, produce.
Right.
I'm writing all this down.
And see, we can attach that life insurance to being the $20 revolutionary.
Yes.
Especially when we start buying life insurance policies from our own agents.
That part.
All right. You taking it there, man. Cultural tithing. We're gonna end with this, man.
Cultural tithing. All right. Since we got the chakra doctor who is an ordained minister, okay. Let's say I'm just gonna play this out. Okay, tonight was Powerball. Let's say Powerball was 300 million. Okay, I go to the bodega, I buy the tickets, I hit. All right. Out of that 300 million, I give the chakra doctor 30 million. As a cultural tithe and a spiritual tithe, all right? Because what he does, he has what I would call a race first ministry, right? Which means I know when I give him that $30, that $30 million, that $30 million is going to address the needs of original people domestically and globally. Okay. So that is cultural tithing.
Immediately.
Okay.
Immediately going to help them out too.
Yes, sir. So like I said, any race first organization you can think of, whether it's the Chakra Doctor, whether it's Nation of Islam, UNIA, the Kemetic, the Moorish, the Hebrew Israelites, put the money, a dime out of every dollar should go back into a race first organization's hands.
Man, I've been saying that about the church. Like, the church is supposed to be a organization that helps us establish an economic base. You know, all that tithes and offers that we give the church, we see none of it back. But the pastor could ride around in a Bentley. You know what I mean? And I just say if the pastor gave 25% of what it earned back to the church, that would change the outcome of the economic situation of the parishioners. But
and then to take it one step further, does your house of worship use a black bank or a black credit union?
Nope, they don't.
Well, you've been learning and earning with the good brother, the Chakra Doctor, and MinisterZumbi.